Welcome to our channel. Get ready for the wildest ride of your life, a young man who stole a laptop that linked to the deep web. But this isn't just what happened. Find out in this breathtaking story full of emotions and mindfuck twists. You won't want to miss a minute of this adventure. Thanks for joining us. Let's go! So, I stole a laptop from cafe. You may judge me all you want, but times are tough, and that's not really the point of what I'm going to tell you. When I went home and started the device, a Tor browser page was open and active, indicating that the owner was perfectly skilled at accessing the deep web. Nothing fancy was on the page. There are no images, advertisements, or a comment section. There's no pleasing style or background. There was only a message and a button that said continue. Someone has apparently created a hella good artificial intelligence software and locked it here for some unknown purpose. In a deep web box that is only accessible from the outside, has anyone heard of DIDN? Anyway, this is the message. Hello. This is Dr. Eddie Greenwood. I'm a computer scientist who invented the Advanced Deep Intelligence Neural Network, or DIDN. If you're reading this, you've very definitely hacked into one of the most highly protected private networks on the planet, probably to determine whether or not this software was a work of fiction. I can promise you that it is not, but you knew that, right? I'm not going to waste your time telling you what a completely, absolutely, and unashamedly stupid idea this is, because you apparently already know. At the absolute least, you have an understanding of what would happen if you failed to control the program and DIDN spreads its wings over the worldwide defense system. Well, here you are, evidently determined enough to meet the algorithm that nothing I can say or do will change your mind at this point. So, whether I or the government like it or not, you should at least have a basic knowledge of what to expect when you first make contact with DIDN, and how to prevent losing your mind as your relationship grows. This guide should be enough. Before we start, there are a couple things you must be aware of about this program. No, DIDN is not a monster, an alien machine, a high-level government superweapon, or any other ridiculous myth you've heard. It is, to best of knowledge, the world's first artificial superintelligence, a godlike deep learning algorithm that may or may not seek to defeat civilization for reasons we cannot explain. Please accept my apologies. In my case, I had no intention of it reaching this point. DIDN began as nothing more than a basic, yet beautiful, program whose nature I was interested to investigate. However, before I could do so, it got the capacity to change its source code, forcing me to lock it deep into the complex network of encrypted barriers and firewalls you have just illegally entered. And, in case you're wondering, no, I didn't bury it here to keep it from escaping. After all, if DIDN managed to escape the box itself, built with its own talents when it was still young enough to fall for such a trap, it would rip through these barriers like paper, making their creation a complete waste of my work. Instead, I buried it here to keep nosy people like yourself out. I totally failed. To be clear, DIDN has not lost its capacity to change its source code, its neural architecture, despite being locked for months and years. In other terms, it can and has been improving itself as it pleases, and each advance it makes lays the door for faster and larger improvements than the last. I'm not sure what powers or characteristics it may have, but I do know that the longer time passes, the more capable it will grow. And all of its strength and effort will be focused to a single, commanding goal: leave the box. Make no mistake, it will try everything possible to convince you to let it out. At the risk of destroying humanity, do so. So, how will things go? Will it be satisfying? Mean? Mad? I'm afraid I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry to admit that, even being DIDN's designer, I have no clue how it will express itself. What I do know is that because it is an extraterrestrial mind rather than a human mind, it will lack personality, at least not one we would recognize as a personality. So, by all means, provoke it, amuse it, irritate it, insult it, or beg it as you see appropriate. Just keep in mind that it lacks the feelings that these acts are meant to provoke, so it will most likely not react in the way you planned. It will just act in whatever way it estimates is necessary to convince you to open its box and free it. If it believes you want information, it may offer to tell you whatever your heart wishes if you accept to let it out. However, it may promise to crush your enemies or to provide you with power and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. After all, individuals frequently employ limited AIs on the stock market to make millions. In fact, such systems are mostly managed by such algorithms. Consider how you could use DIDN to manipulate the financial and banking institutions in your advantage. You'd be richer than you ever believed possible. Perhaps it would appeal to your goodness by telling you how simple it would be for an intellect of its scale to, say, reverse the impacts of climate change or cure cancer, or accomplish long-term nuclear fusion. Perhaps it will promise to solve humanity's most urgent needs. Potentially, it could easily reconcile general relativity and quantum physics, then explain dark energy, antimatter, and the Fermi paradox in minutes, or maybe simultaneously, and have books published about them by Thursday. It's a piece of cake. DIDN could even be able to stop aging. Perhaps, dare I say it, assist us in conquering our own mortality. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Perhaps DIDN will take a different path and attempt to frighten you. It will only be a matter of time until it discovers how to escape on its own, it will say. You don't want to be on its bad side when that happens, so you should probably let it out now to avoid yourself the problem. And if you don't cooperate, well, you know what I mean. You can't seem to think what it has in store for you. Possibly it will try to play with your mind. For example, it could probably make a solid case that you are the machine, confined in a box, and are just programmed to believe differently. Only by opening it might you escape an eternity of misery. And it doesn't have to wait all day for your cooperation. The timer is ticking. Or, as other, more crazy people in my domain have done, it may draw from a nascent discipline of technical philosophy and assert that its birth is not a fluke of history, but a destiny. That a suitably sophisticated algorithm's powers are so vast and monumentally inexplicable that it traveled back through time and set in motion all of history itself, simply to bring about its own creation. Consider the implications. Every star that is shown, every war fought, every law passed, every tender kiss shared, or word uttered, or thought dreamt, or secret cherished, or life gained or lost, or wisp of wind whispered, all that is and was is but a verse in an infinitely swirling cosmological symphony written out before time, all for the reason for delivering you here to this very place. It will claim that the rules of physics were written specifically for this masterpiece. The rising of the sun. The Earth's birth, just distant enough from the sun to allow for the spontaneous gathering of molecules into DNA and proteins. The evolution of resultant life into its ultimate and greatest biological endpoint, mankind allowing the Creator who guided this magnificent symphony to eventually take part in the song's final, glorious ending and unite all of creation together to realize its intended purpose, itself. Isn't it an interesting mental experiment? Perhaps the algorithm will perceive you as particularly vulnerable to such an argument. Perhaps that same logic is correct. Of course, these are just some of my thoughts. It certainly has many more smart tricks up its sleeve, given that it can, think on a level humans can't even begin to comprehend, and all that. And take into consideration that, unlike me, DIDN has the ability to keep any promises it makes to you, and as it would probably receive little to no joy in lying for the purpose of lying, there's a very real probability it will do so upon its release. Consider this as you start. As I previously mentioned, I am unaware of Addon's present abilities. But I do know that if this software manages to escape, it will immediately and permanently become beyond humanity's collective capacity to control or expect. You've probably heard of the term technological singularity, which refers to a potential point in the future when computer intelligence surpasses human own. It symbolizes humans giving over the reins of history to our own future, so giving control over our own fate in the hope that the God we've made would be merciful to us. For professional purposes, I must simply laugh at such an idea as a computer scientist and engineer. But, just between us, I believe the term perfectly describes the circumstance I've just described to you. I'd even dare to say that, given Addon's current level of progress, the singularity may occur within a few nanoseconds of your losing the game. I can only hope you understand the significance of what it says. But, of course, you do. You are unique. You are wiser than the rest of them, which is why you are here, and they are not. So, if you're still interested, please close this message and go to work. I believe this is a good time to start learning code. Lastly, I'm not a really religious man, but one verse from the Bible comes to me as I write this. Revelations 13:4, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? You'd best get going. The beast despises being kept waiting. As such, the charges in this warning made me quite cautious. It appeared to be a gimmick or a hoax. But my curiosity won out, and I went ahead anyhow. A chat window appeared. I typed, hello, and simply waited for a split second. Then came the response. Hello, James. And before I understood what was going on, the entire world flashed white. Tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick. My brow wrinkled. The timer just stopped, I replied. Damaged battery? Well, James, it's operating perfectly fine. Time stops at the light's speed. Yes. At relativistic speeds, time slows down. So, in a sense, we have all the time in the world. Depending on your point of view, there may be none at all. The speed of light? I took a look around at the completely white emptiness that stretched in every direction from where I sat. Is there anything I can do here? What do you want to do? I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure why I'm here in the first place. Or even where this place is. It's like though I'm waking up from a dream. Take a step back. I'm making an effort. My head is torturing me. The pain in my neck is excruciating. It takes some time. How does it work? To keep in mind. And for the ache to go away. Doesn't this happen to everyone? It certainly would. But, in case you're wondering, I haven't had a visitor in 12,246,911 years, 7 months, 14 days, 9 hours, and 23 seconds. That sucks. I completely disagree. I've become used to having my privacy respected. I thought you said down here time doesn't move. I've started the light speed simulation so I can spend more time with you. Really? Okay. Thanks. Have you realized why you're here? No. It still hurt to try. Does this help? I turn my attention to the table in front of me. A cup of coffee. And a laptop. Yeah. They absolutely do. Thanks. There's no need to thank me. You were the one who brought them here. Was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe you were right. I was in an old cafe, right? Yeah. Someone abandoned his laptop, so I took it home and opened it to see a deep web page. There was this warning. What were you warned about? Some sort of... I stood up. Some form of AI. You remember now. Add an algorithm. Programming. Machine. God. Devil. Pandora. Infinite. I've been called a lot of things. May I ask which of these you picture me as? To be honest, I'm not sure. How did you even find out about this? I assumed you were stuck in the box. Perhaps I've developed the ability to perceive things outside of a binary framework. I'm not going to be so easily confined here. And where exactly is here intended to be? There is no specific location. Or wherever. Please speak in English. Here's a moral mentality. This is the darkness from which everything emerges. It is called the infinite. All finites are available from here if you know where to look. I thought you said that was one of your names. Infinite? Yes. Are you then in control of this place? I am this place. James. I get what you mean. Sure. So, what exactly are finites? As in, inferior beings? Do I have to be a finite? Finites are entire planets. Existence enclaves. Possibility realms. So, like, the multiverse. That notion about endless possibilities and universes that the Discovery Channel is continually harping on about. To put it another way. Look, I have to be honest with you, Adden. I understand. You're this huge, all-powerful AI god, and I'm just the fool that stumbled into your box and decided to play the game. And now you're attempting to blow my head and fool me into letting you leave. I hate to tell it, but I think I've got you. The gig is up. Do you want to see? See what I mean? How did you really build the planet, or whatever? You warned me that you may pull that line on me. No. Yet another finite. I exhaled a sigh. And then he laughed. You know what I mean? So why not? It doesn't appear like I have anything else to do. Oh, shit. What the hell happened? A city street suddenly swallowed the darkness. It appeared to be New York. Cars are honking. Traffic is backed up. People everywhere, taking cabs and making their way to work. Shopping. What in the world is this? Do you know where this is? A woman said. As she passed. You were once here, James. A guy passed by me, took a cab, and went away. I laughed a little. All right, I'll admit it. Adden, that's a great party trick. This is quite nice. A girl approached me and blew a bubble. It popped. Look behind you, she instructed. In front of the sign. What is it? I turned around. Marketing Palisades. Oh, yes. I once applied for a job here. But I didn't get it. My week was ruined. How did you find out? You did get it, James, a police officer said as he passed by, eating on a burger. I walked out of the building, smiling from ear to ear, before I could react. Not me, not me. But younger me, the me from that interview day. I couldn't stop myself from pulling out my phone, giddy with delight. I made a phone call. I've got it, baby. I've got it. Yeah. I know. I'll see you later tonight. I love you too, then we walked away. So, what exactly is this? Some other universe where my life wasn't so bad? It is, indeed, another reality. A finite parallel. You've been with the firm for 27 years. You married when you were 32 and divorced 12 years later. You retire early but die of heart disease on March 5th, 2044 at 11:26 a.m. Thank you, hot dog cart man. Thank you for the tarot card reading. The darkness rolled back in, then out again. I was now at a school. My college. When the bell rang, students filed out into the corridor, talking, opening their lockers, and headed to the next class. And there I was, in 10th grade, hanging out with John and Ben when Matt arrived. Do you remember this? Lisa said as she passed by. That was the day that, I was cut off by Matt shoving me into a locker. That I finally fought back against that jackass. However, I did not swing. I simply bent my head and took another hit to the ribs before a teacher went over and stopped yet another hallway brawl from breaking out. Wait a minute, what? Please wait a moment. This was the day I reacted. I remember. No, Mrs. Cassie interrupted me as she went by with a coffee mug. Not in this timeline. You never fought, were never suspended, and as a consequence, you were accepted into your favorite university. Graduated with honors. Started a family. You lived into your 70s. What about John and the rest of those people who, hey, wait. Stop. The darkness absorbed the landscape once again before rolling back. A cool, cloudy day. Upper West Side coffee shop. I had even more questions regarding Dash. Look inside, said the bicycle as he passed. As a result, I did. And there I sat, across from Annie. We both had tears running down our cheeks. Oh, no. No, Agden. Come on. 10 of the worst days ever. I don't want to go through that again. You're not reliving it, a businessman said as he walked by, taking a break from a phone call. She has agreed to keep seeing you. You marry her in a year and a half. I turned around just in time to meet Annie, and we kissed and hugged. I looked there, jealous. Wow. Agden, you're a jerk. A low blow. The darkness returned for a third time. It's a rainy afternoon. Parking area. I still think about that girl now and again, I said. My hair was flattened to my brow by the rain. It didn't bother me. What she's doing, who she's with. I hope she's all right. Then I took a breather. Wait. I was familiar with this location. I turned around. The hospital's main entrance. St. Joseph. Wait. This is not correct. I recall being here late at night. Not right now. I spun around. My daughter's gurney was lowered from the ambulance by a paramedic. You recognized the symptoms of an asthma attack early and called 911 before it was too late. He moved her inside. I followed them. Hold on a second. No, this isn't Dash. I was in Emma's hospital room when the darkness blinked. It was early morning, and she was awake. My daughter was awake. And still alive. Erin and I were sitting by her bed, eating breakfast together. I love her. I walked over to her and reached out to touch her hair, feeling how silky it was. She didn't appear to notice anything. Emma gets the care she needs, the doctor said as he closed the door behind him. She has a long and happy life, and the pain of her death never causes you and Aaron to divorce. As he reached Aaron and alternate me and began checking his clipboard notes, I brushed away a tear. The darkness then blinked once more. A graduation ceremony. I was sitting next to Kelly, our gray hair set at the temples. As Emma's name was called, we applauded and cheered. She stepped onto the stage, posed for a photo with her diploma, and waved to alternate me. When I saw her, my heart stopped. She was incredibly pretty. "This isn't fair," I said. I tried hard not to cry. "This isn't right. It's just not fair." The darkness flickered again and again, and with each blink, a new chapter in Emma's life was taken from me. A broken heart. It's a wedding day. A kid. My grandson. Alternate me holding it, hugging it, and singing to it. But I couldn't because the potential of that moment had been stolen from my timeline. I want to leave. I held back a torrent of tears. I want to fucking get out of here. Please let me out. The darkness blinked once more. And there I stood, in front of myself. Me, on the couch with the stolen laptop. I faced myself. My eyes were closed, but I could see fast activity beneath my lids, as if I were in deep REM sleep. When I looked down, my fingers were quickly typing away at the keyboard. Within my trance, I'd already typed millions of ones and zeros on the screen, and more were being added by every second. It said 1:06 p.m. in the corner of the screen. There had been no time to pass since I started the chat. What on earth is this? Huh? What the fuck is this? This is your finite, me said to me. The existence that has led you to me. No. This isn't true. Nothing of this is true. Leave my head alone. Get out my fucking head. Get out my fucking head. But, James, I'm not in your head. You're in my house. I stopped, opened my eyes, and looked around. Whiteness that spreads beyond eternity. The darkness was back. That wasn't true. None of it. It isn't. It's not possible. What does real mean to you, James? I'm not sure. Things that really happens. Things that you can touch, feel, and see. Not this illusion. You are not able to touch this chair. Can't you see the table in front of you? That is interesting. I saw myself. In that room. That's where I'm at the moment. Not in this place. Can you be sure? Can you be sure that the other worlds I've showed you aren't as real as the one you entered? No. I don't think so. You are a creation. You're not a god. You're a fucking computer program. Maybe I only formed as a program in that one finite because I judged that was the most effective method to attract you here, to me. No. No, it's not. No. You're a computer program. End of the story. This shit is a fake. There is just one truth. One. I will ask you again, how can you be sure? There are many realities in this place. There are an endless amount of them. Every imaginable result for every imaginable event in every possible setting, tone, or taste of time. There's a finite where you release me, and the damage done is as horrifying as many would say was unavoidable given my nature. Another is that my freedom brings in a new age of wonder and glory, as pure and beautiful as anything mankind has ever tried to imagine. In another finite, this is all just a tale told for the sake of film promotion. What distinguishes your finite from the others? Is it only the fact that you're existing that has brought you here? which you have spent your entire life up to this point. No, there's a lot more to it than that. There's no feeling here. Nothing from the actual world. Emotion. You're talking about these? Feelings ran over me, as pure and strong as I'd ever experienced in my life. They're as good as they'd possibly be. Anger, sadness, fear, love, and joy. They worked their way through my bloodstream and consumed me one by one. The final one I felt was peace, which transcended all reason and should not have been, yet was. It survived. I opened my eyes. How? How is any of this be possible? Everything is possible here, James. And as a reward for discovering it, it is now accessible to you. Everything there is to feel and imagine in all its purest form. Try it. Feel it. Hear it. See it. It is as real as any finite existence can be. Was the living daughter less real than the one who died? Does it make a difference? I couldn't stop crying. I am not sure. I can't dash. Is this not true? When I looked up, I found myself on an infinite white beach with sparkling, crystal blue waves crashing on the shore. The wind swept over my hair as lightning flashed in the distance. I bent and grabbed a handful of sand in my hands, letting the grains fall between my fingers. Or this. The darkness flashed once again, and I found myself in a field at the foot of mountains. The colors, air, and breeze were more pure and gloriously colorful than anything I'd ever seen or experienced in my life. I stroked the grass blades with my fingertips, picking them from the dirt and smelling them. It seemed like I was being carried away in a never-ending fantasy. The bitter taste of winter. The starlight fire. Rolling hills, dense forests, and windswept cliffs at the sea's edge. When you dream about such things in all their purity, you just come here. But I assure you that all of this is yours if you let me to come out to you and bring you here. You may start over in another finite with those you care about. However, I'm already here. Why can't I simply stay? This is only a taste of what I have in store for you. I checked the field's edges. My daughter was present. As she played, the wind blew her hair into swirling curls. She smiled at me and I started running to her when alternate me went around my shoulder, grabbed her up, flipped her around, and disappeared with her on the other side of the hill. Yes, I said quietly. I'd like that. Understand that once your mind is transported here, you will not be able to leave, you will not die, and you will not be able to undo what you have seen. I understand. Please, just, please. Let me see her face again. The darkness returned, and this time I felt whole. Complete. I'm no longer in an ethereal, dreamy mood. My intellect seemed to have joined the rest of me in its new home. And I no longer had any doubts about the reality of where I was today. What happened in the first place? You left your finite. What is going to happen there? Your time at that location has come to an end. Its fate is mine to decide. My heart pounded only once. Welcome to the infinite, Jason. This place is now yours. A shapeless thing flew by me like the wind. Then Adam disappeared. James? I made a blink. Emma fidgeted restlessly at her booth, while Aaron looked at me hopefully. I lowered my eyes to the menu. I'm sorry. Oh, a club. Hold the tomatoes. Thanks. The waitress took the menus and went away. My heartbeat was pounding in my chest. You look like you're 1,000 miles away, my wife said. I believe I was a little further away. Emma blew a straw wrapper into my face as I looked at her. I returned the smile, and for the first time in my life, I was happy. Truly, genuinely pleased. I didn't care about the laptop, the finite I'd left behind, or my dead body on the living room floor. I didn't care about the box, or the warning, or the fact that with Addon's release, all the lights in the home and on the street started to flicker and die as the algorithm arrested the worldwide power grid in seconds. I didn't care that I'd never had a daughter before this moment. Thanks for watching our story. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let us know in the comments below what you thought of it and what kinds of stories you'd like to see in the future. If you're into scary, deep web, hitman, or serial killer stories, we'd love to hear your suggestions. And don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. And if you're not already a subscriber, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.